What's up, everybody? It's Vinegar Syndrome sale night, and that's a big deal around these parts. I figure it's going to be a late night, and I'm trying to get comfortable. Going to be sitting in this chair for a long time tonight. I am so excited and eager to spend this time with all of you. What is going on this week? I really was thinking we were going to have a nice short reconnected, and then bam, last couple days explosion of announcements. We knew that we were getting Criterion this week. We knew before last show, we knew that Shawscope was getting announced officially this week, but good gosh, we got some Severin titles to go over. We got some random looking Wild Eye titles. We got some Makeflix new titles. There's a lot. There's a lot more than expected, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here. It has been a fairly rough week around these parts. Having two kids with special needs during the summer, when one of them is especially energetic and active, and always looking to screw things up. I think my kids are bored and ready to start school, and unfortunately, I still got 5 more days. I am so ready for them to go back. But all that being said, how's everybody here? Anything exciting in your lives going on? Not a whole lot here. I'm looking forward to next weekend for sure. I've got we talked about it on here before. I think I got tickets to the local Carpenter Fest. I think this is the 5th year that they've done it. And we're doing Escape from New York, Escape from LA, and They Live, all on the big screen. And I think I've only seen Escape from New York on the big screen. So eager to see the other two on the big screen. I'm really starting to dwindle down my list of Carpenter releases that I've not seen on the big screen. So grateful for that. Grateful that I still get those chances. Let's see who all is here. Eric. Probably going to stick around for a short time. School started. Oh, that's true. You get up super early to run. I get it. I completely get it. Except for the running. Why does anybody run unless you're being chased? I'm just kidding. I'm fat and I can't run. I've got giant feet. Sardis, my friend. It's the Ryan Show. What's up? Dave. Hey, gang. How we doing? Jeff, my man. Always here. I love to see you. Lissa, what's up? Dustin, hey, I hope you guys are here all night tonight. Terry, what's up? Oh, my sister's here. What's up, Courtney? Good to see you. A great escape, absolutely. Planet Mondo, so tonight we're getting 1 VSA, 2 Picorama titles, and a 50% off sale on, not the regular titles, on 200 very specific titles. So we're going to go into all those details when we start the Vinegar Syndrome stream at 10:30 Central Time tonight. So we got 2 more hours, and this is a good time to talk about that. So I'm going to do one stream on all of this, and then take a short break, and then jump back on at 10:30 here, 11:30 Eastern, to lead into the sale. We'll discuss and all that. It's going to be a long night. I'm excited. Vinegar Syndrome night is always great. John's here. What's going on, my friend? Blank Gen 78. Those bats, that's awesome. Quiet Rob, missed not much at all. Just talking, saying hello to everybody. Thought Carpenter Fest was a festival of music by the Carpenters. It is. It absolutely is. They're doing that all morning, and then at night, for some reason, they're showing a couple films with Kurt Russell. So we'll see. Michael Howard, definitely looking forward to the sale at midnight. Awesome. Oh God, gotta get up at 4 a.m. I had, I think it was, Monday night of this week. It was my wife's birthday on Monday, and then she got a new video game for her birthday over the weekend, and we stayed up way too late playing that. And then I had to be up at 5:30ish, 5:40 the next morning for work, and I ended up only getting like 3.5 hours of sleep like an idiot. So I'm still tired from Monday. Let's see here. Couch says lots of stuff coming out. Way too much for sure. We need a halftime show. I should have prepped it. That would have been really funny, actually. Dead Sea Life, my friend. So glad you're here again this week. And all right, to keep this one semi-brief, I'm going to jump right into it. any questions, if I don't see it fast enough, it'll pop up. If especially if you do one of like the super chats or something like that, it'll really highlight it, and I'll jump in there as soon as I can. But I'm gonna try to jump in to this as much as I can and go back and forth between the screens so that we can answer some questions on all that. Sardis says, any info on the King Kong Steelbook? Is that the one that we were talking about in the Discord earlier? If that's the case, you're going to want to go to groove.com, GRUV.com. That is the storefront for Universal Online, the Universal Studio, like Pictures, the actual movie studio. And they do stuff all the time that's extra cheap. And for some reason, they have had ridiculously great prices on steelbooks lately. And most of them are 4K steelbooks. We're talking like $8 to $12 for most of them. And a lot of them, they had been out of print for quite some time. And just now they are like liquidating everything or trying to empty up their warehouses or something, because it has been very cheap. It definitely makes me feel like I should have held out for some sale prices, because some of those I definitely paid full price for. Let's see. Okay, that was the one you're talking about. Good. Neil is here and on YouTube. Nice. Good to see you. Dave says, not expecting the latest Forgotten Jolly Avant Fob. No, it will definitely not be on sale. We can deduce that anything from the past probably 5 or 6 months will not be on sale. Specifically, the sale tonight is about things that they hold in their archive. A lot of those Jolly sets, they actually do not hold those in their archive. Those are mostly from overseas, and they usually either do their own restoration or they use labs overseas to do those restorations, and then they're archived with the rights holder on most of those. I'm guessing tonight that most of the titles that are going to be on sale, and like I said, we'll get into this a lot more at 11:30 Eastern, but I think most of the sales titles tonight are going to be stuff probably from the first 5-ish years of the existence of Vinegar Syndrome. I don't think that they are going to surprise a lot of that. A lot of the adult titles are ones that they have archived in theirs, and then like a lot of the drive-in titles are ones that they have. A lot of the really old Blu-ray releases are ones that they also did. So yeah, tons of stuff in their archive, but it's their first time doing the sale, so it's a little difficult to speculate so much. Yeah, Alyssa, I bought Faults from Yellowvale, nice, when it was released. So if I buy anything from Vinegar Syndrome this weekend, I can add to an existing order. Yes, as long as Faults was announced on the 1st of August, which I think it was. As long as it was, from what they have said, yes, you can add it to an existing order, and then as soon as everything's ready, they will ship it all out to you at once. Griff Redux, what's going on, my friend? It'll be a kick if the site crashes. I have not seen the Vinegar Syndrome site crash since like 2016 or 17. Not to kick Severin for no reason when they're not at this party, but it's been a long time compared to Severin since the Vinegar Syndrome site crashed. All right. Oh gosh, that is an awful joke, Mondo. Watch him release 200 Blu-rays on us tonight. That would be an expensive night for some people. I'm really curious about the merch, but again, we'll talk about all that later. I can talk about Vinegar Syndrome for hours. Some announcements. Let's get into it. I am stoked on this. First off, busy week. Coming on October 18th from IFC Films is Flux Gourmet, a dysfunctional sonic collective, a band devoted to the sounds of the culinary arts. Navigates rivalries, internal and external, in this absurdly original feast for the senses. I have heard pretty exciting things about this, and I really want to see this as soon as it's released. So definitely going to be looking into this one. I'm curious, has anybody in the chat seen this yet? Because I think this played at some festivals and may have gotten a really short run in some places. If you've seen this, let me know. Coming back here to the chat, Ash says, I bought the 3 Chucky movies on 4K. They look great in 4K, by the way. Cost me a pretty penny, but hopefully worth it. Yeah, they are definitely worth it, I think. For I don't think this is a hot take anymore. I think this used to be a rare take, but now it seems to be a little more not popular necessarily, but coming up in the ranks. I think Child's Play 2 is probably the best of the series, and I think it's great. But they all look really good in 4K for sure. Jonathan Salisbury, greetings. What's going on? Really enjoyed my interview with the folks at Error. Oh, thank you. And Agpa, nice. I'm glad you got to watch both of those. The Error one was a kick in the pants for me because I had been a few times in the last couple of years really kicking around the idea of doing my own label, and I just never got aside the money to start. And then they were basically like, yeah, we hardly had anything to start it, and we just said, why not, and started one as a joke. And man, it was inspiring and also just sad that I couldn't make it happen when I wanted to. Next one up, let's get into some Umbrella announcements. So Sons of Steel from 1988 is coming from Umbrella. This is one that has gotten a little bit of attention lately because I believe it had another release. This is the slipcover for the Beyond Genres line, and the back of the slip is here as well. But then they've got this big, all-encompassing package if you are ordering direct from Umbrella, and some of the things they have, they've got a pocket nuclear shelter tote bag, which is, I mean, it looks really cool. And then limited edition Sons of Steel soundtrack, A3 double-sided poster, 8 postcards, a sticker pack, and then the Sons of Steel soundtrack. If you get the non-limited from their site, you can get it from all kinds of places, like Orbit will have it in stock in the US here. But if you do, it should have all of that except the soundtrack, it looks like, and obviously all the physical goodies. But just the regular in the slip release will have all the same bonus features on here. There's a making of, we got some featurettes, we got some music videos, which is pretty cool, and then an original short film that inspired Sons of Steel. I'm digging these Umbrella releases lately. They're doing great work. Next one, Cloak and Dagger, which Vinegar Syndrome, of course, put out on 4K. This one will not be 4K, but it's got a pretty cool release coming. So this is the front and the back of that. I believe that is the slip that they're doing. Yes. And then, again, this giant all-encompassing package. So if you get it from their store, there is a Jack Flack figurine made out of pewter, and awesome. They got a top secret CD soundtrack in this. There's a 3D poster, and it's got the viewing glasses with it, 8 lobby cards, and then, of course, the slipcover. But the cooler thing, if you're really loving this movie, perhaps you have not seen this previously until the Vinegar Syndrome one, this looks incredible and also would be a good companion because this is coming as a really unique package compared to the Vinegar Syndrome one, because it's got all kinds of exclusive features. It looks like I've not compared the two, but when they say new here, usually that means they are not in another package that's already out there and they did it themselves. This has been happening more and more with Umbrella and Vinegar Syndrome and 88 Films and a couple others, where they're doing the same title but putting out their own exclusive features to try and get people to either double dip or possibly to just entice them to buy their release over the other. For example, the Miami Connection release from Umbrella that came out after the Vinegar Syndrome release, that one had the CD soundtrack and the Vinegar Syndrome one did not. So that's actually pretty dang cool. Jonathan says there's still time, perhaps, but there's not still money. I definitely need a lot more than that. Super chats are open, by the way. If you want me to open a label someday, I'm not going to say no to donations. Sarda says, does the tote bag have a school desk in it? Jeez. Man, we actually talked about this the other day because I grew up in Southern California, and I was talking about I had all kinds of earthquake drills growing up, and my kids are never going to know about that. And then my wife reminded me, yes, but your kids are going to have significantly more lockdown drills than I ever had, and I'm not going to know what that is like. So, man, the world is a crappy place. Mike Howard snagged all 3 Umbrella bundles. Damn, nice. Griff has been collecting all of the Umbrella Sunburnt editions. They have some really unique titles on that Sunburnt Screens line. Don't have any of their bigger sets like this, though the Cloak and Dagger one with the pewter one looks sweet. Yes. And then there's a 3D poster. Yes. Chester says, prefer this artwork over the VS release. Oh, man. If you're talking about the outer case, I definitely prefer the Vinegar Syndrome one, because the fact that it looks like the original arcade cabinet is just perfect. When they announced that, a lot of people complained about that, and I had to remind them that old art, almost like Atari arcade cabinet look, is incredible. I love the art on the VS one. Griff says, oh, there we go. The VS artwork is original to the cabinet, so I get where it came from. I got the chance to play the game. Oh, that's awesome. That is really cool, Griff. I bet not many people have had that opportunity, relatively. Let's check out the next one. This is a line. If you're going to collect from Umbrella, I would strongly suggest the Sunburnt Screens line that was just mentioned by Griff. And then the other one is this Ozploitation Classics line. Obviously, Umbrella is a company out of Australia, and Ozploitation Classics are going to be films made either in Australia or by Australian filmmakers, and they have been killing it, absolutely killing it with those Ozploitation releases. They are usually better releases than those same films getting released in the States. There are a couple that have been at least on the same level, but none of them have really been worse than their counterparts here. So yeah, this line is incredible. And I know John Peters in the chat also really loves this line too. They've done a lot of incredible stuff. This entire release, again, they have an exclusive. Let's look at the slipcover first. This is the front, digging the art on that. And then here is the back. Gotta love the bending over panty shot they had to include for some reason. And then this is the entire package, really highlighting that panty shot there. What we got here, exclusive from their web store, there is a Midnight Spares car emblem for the back of the Toei, and it's down here. You can see it. A full-size Daybill poster, a 16-page comic book from Dark Oz based on the movie with more Speed, Rex, and Calamity, and then a full A3 poster featuring custom art, 6 lobby cards, and then the never-before-released uncut alternate soundtrack. An uncut alternate soundtrack. That's so unique. Love that. And then it's got all the standard extras that they get on a lot of these. They got a commentary. We've got more footage from Not Quite Hollywood that they have milked Not Quite Hollywood into everything coming out of Australia for years and years. Yeah, this looks like another great addition to Ozploitation Classics. Speaking of sunburnt screens, the next one coming up is from 1992 and features a little-known actor named Anthony Hopkins, and it's also got Toni Collette in this and Russell Crowe. But I mean, 1992, Anthony Hopkins, he was doing some stuff back in the early 90s. So this is a kind of a big deal to be in a film like this for an Australian filmmaker, and I'm glad that we're getting stuff like this. So this is getting a new HD scan from a 4K scan of the original, let's see, it does not say the elements, but it's in the original aspect ratio, which was not on previous releases, I believe. And then in this release, there's going to be an exclusive CD soundtrack. And then we've got Memories of Spotswood with the director Mark Jaffe. I just realized that's the first time I said the title. This is Spotswood from 1992. Apologies for those listening in audio later. We also got a feature-length audio commentary with the director, the cinematographer, and the production designer. And some other featurettes. We got some archival stuff on here. Kind of a lot for a title like this. Obviously, I would have loved if we could have gotten new stuff with Anthony Hopkins or Toni Collette or Russell Crowe. But I think they're probably a little more expensive than Umbrella can afford to pay for a release of Spotswood. I can't imagine like a new 45-minute interview with Anthony Hopkins about Spotswood from 30 years later. Okay, let's look at the chat. Video Man in, what's going on? Just finished the work with Tom Cruise. Nice. Starting on a new feature on Monday. Nice. Looking forward to begin filming my own feature in a month. I can't wait to hear more about it. Again, like I told you the other day, been checking out some more of your stuff. it looks great. I love your eye for some of those shots. Let's see. Mike says Cloak and Dagger also has a 3D slipcover. I did not remember that. Did it? Wait, are we talking about the Umbrella release or the Vinegar Syndrome release? Josephine DeMarco, what's going on? Have I watched Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul? The Better Call Saul finale Monday night was outstanding. Yes, I've watched Breaking Bad. I think I've watched like 2 episodes of Better Call Saul, and I said, you know what? I'm going to wait for this to be all the way done. So my wife and I are actually about to be watching that here soon. Breaking Bad, really cool side story as we're talking about Umbrella. I'm going to go into this. One of my favorite experiences in a movie theater ever was actually watching Breaking Bad. When I first moved to Kansas City, I was not used to having, first of all, different theaters to choose from. That's how small the town I came from. There was one always sticky floor movie theater with seats that were 25 years old, smelled like absolute shit. If I wanted to go to a nice theater, I had to drive like 35 minutes away. But coming here, suddenly, I had like 25 theaters to choose from. And the year I moved here was the following, like the next calendar year was when Breaking Bad ended. And there was a local theater here that was showing the finale of Breaking Bad on the big screen live as it happened. And my wife and I went, you know what? We really love Breaking Bad. We've been watching it the whole time it's been on. Let's see if we can get in there. So I went and waited in line, and we got lucky, got in, had a great spot, like exact middle of the theater, you know, that exact sweet spot for the visuals and the sound. And being in that room with a room full of Breaking Bad fans, watching the ending to that show, which is now known as like one of the best series finales of all time, was, I mean, it was like genuinely exhilarating. It was I don't know, it felt like an almost out of body experience, just being able to be there with them and feel the energy literally like rising above the seats. It was so damn cool. Anyways, weird soapbox to get on for a second. Let's see, favorite Anthony Hopkins performance. I mean, it's kind of hard to deny the Lecter of it all. He is iconic as that character, and it's ridiculous how good he is. I will say also, I really respect him and what he's done as Odin. I think that he did a lot of really good stuff in the MCU. He actually held his own and really put in a decent performance. But yeah, I mean, Silence of the Lambs has to take that one. Recent first-time watches, Phantom of the Paradise. God, I love that film. De Palma. Heavenly Kid, $1 Million Duck, Bound. Another great film that not enough people talk about at all right now. Yeah, those look great. Look Who's Talking. That's a classic I watched all the time as a kid. Moving on from Spotswood, Australia is getting a release through Umbrella for The Possessed. Just an FYI, if everybody is purchasing from the US and Australia sometimes, this is the release, this is the same film recently announced by Scream Factory of The Possessed from 2021. So if you already have the Scream Factory one ordered, you don't need this, obviously, because there's nothing new on it. I checked this one for sure. But then on top of that, if you're looking to stay with US titles or would want the Umbrella one, just no reason to double dip really on these. And next up, I think that's all for Umbrella. Okay, so this is a big one. I am actually going to... Maybe I shouldn't do that. Let me do this. Okay, you can still hear me now. So Shaw Scope Volume 2. This is coming on November 22nd in the US, the UK, and Canada from Arrow. And there is so many details in this to get into, but I just wanted to give a brief overview of this. Otherwise, I can spend the next 35 minutes talking just about Shaw Scope. So to break this down, this whole first post here is all about like a summary of the entire collection, and then we'll get into a couple of the special features. So this one says, picking up where Volume 1 left off, this sophomore collection of Hong Kong cinema classics draws together many of the best films from the final years of the Shaw Brothers studio. We begin with Kung Fu Master Lau Kar-Lung's instant classic, The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, in which his adoptive brother Gordon Liu achieved overnight stardom as the young man who unexpectedly finds spiritual enlightenment on the path to vengeance. Lau and Liu followed the original with two comically inventive sequels, Return to the 36th Chamber and Disciples of the 36th Chamber. Both are included here. Already established as a genius at blending dazzling action with physical comedy, Lau himself plays the lead role in the hilarious Mad Monkey Kung Fu, coupled here with Lomar's underrated 5 Super Fighters. Now, to break in here for 1 second, Mad Monkey Kung Fu is not the same as Monkey Kung Fu. Those are two different films, so make sure you're paying attention to the titles. A lot of these have very similar names. It's kind of similar to the way, like, in Italy, they were really just attaching to other cinema titles like Django to try to capitalize on those. A lot of these are going to be very similarly named. Moving on, like I just said, the underrated 5 Super Fighters. Next, we once again meet Chang Che's Basher boy band, the Venom Mob, in no less than four of their best-loved team-ups: Invincible Shaolin, The Kid with the Golden Arm, Magnificent Ruffians, and culminating in the all-star 10 Tigers of Kwangtung, co-starring Tai Lung and Fu Shang. After Lau brings us perhaps his best high-kicking comedy with My Young Auntie, a playful star vehicle for his real-life muse, Kara Hui, we see Shaw Brothers fully embracing 80s excess in our strangest double feature yet. Wang Jing's breathtakingly wild shoot-'em-up Mercenaries from Hong Kong, and Kwai Chai Hyung's spectacularly unhinged black magic meltdown, The Boxer's Omen. Obviously, The Boxer's Omen is one that most people that love this type of cinema have been waiting on for a long time. And then, last but certainly not least, Lau Kar-Lung directs the last major Shaw production, Martial Arts of Shaolin, filmed in mainland China with a hot new talent named Jet Li in the lead role. It is paired in this set with The Barefooted Kid, a reverent remake of a Chang Che classic with Johnny To from Running Out of Time in the director's chair, and Lau back on fight choreography duties in arguably the ultimate filmed tribute to Shaw's everlasting cinematic legacy. I mean, absolutely huge on this. Let's see what some people are saying so far. Shawscope Volume 2 is crazy, to say the least. John says, excited for The Boxer's Omen, 10 Tigers, and extras on the 36 Chamber sequels. Nice. Lissa was not expecting The Boxer's Omen. Very excited about that one. Very nice. Terry had a big screen experience with the final episode of Star Trek TNG. Nice. Think we saw it a few days early. That's actually really cool. They didn't port over the Dragon Dynasty commentary with RZA on 36 Chambers. Interesting. Flickering says, in a true catch-up comment, I hope to pick up Shawscope Volume 1 soon. Oh, so this is a really good time to highlight. If you are looking for both Shawscope 1 and 2, Grindhouse Video is actually doing a little bundle with the two of them for what is currently the cheapest price when getting both of them together. It's still a little pricey, but for both of them in one package, and I believe you'll get free shipping, it is the best way to get both of them right now if you don't have the first one yet. Josephine says, today my brother showed me the first 2 episodes of One Piece, and I already love it. Nice. Any horror in there other than Boxer's Omen? No, nothing really horror, unfortunately. The cool thing, we do have a chance at that. Very nonchalantly on Twitter, Arrow just kind of quietly announced that they already have plans for a volume 3 and 4 of Shawscope. So it appears that we're going to be getting a lot more than we had originally planned, which means the first one must have been absolutely insanely successful for them, because to jump all in on Shaw like that is kind of a big deal. This one is coming about a year after the first release, just shy of a year. With how much Arrow has done over the last, we'll say 6 months, to slow down a little bit on the QC and to make sure that they're catching up on things first. They've had some delays. They've had 2 slow months. I would not really expect that third one for a while, especially because these first two, I believe, were in one licensing agreement. And after that first one sold well, they probably went after more, which means they might not have signed those until semi early in 2022. And we'll see how long it takes for those to come. I mean, after working with the studio, it's possible that they were able to get those quicker, and they already had the relationships established and all that. So we'll see. I mean, we could have one of these in hand by next June for Shawscope Volume 3. I just would not necessarily count on that by then. All right, let's look at some details from some of these, because there is so much included that I absolutely had to put like 5 different posts here. So let's go some overview of this. We got high-def Blu-ray presentations of all 14 films, including 9 brand new 2K restorations by Arrow Films themselves. There's an illustrated 60-page collector's book featuring new writing by David Desser, Jonathan Clements, Lovely John, and David West, plus cast and crew listings and notes on every single film by Simon Abrams. There's new artwork by Mike Lee Graham, Chris Malbin, Kagan McLeod, Colin Murdoch, Kung Fu Bob O'Brien, Lucas Peveril, Island Sheedy, Tony Stella, Darren Wheeling. That's really cool to see. And Jolene Yates. Hours of never before seen bonus features, including cast and crew interviews from the Frederick Ambrosine Video Archive, 2 CDs of music from the DeWolf Music Library as heard in several of the films, exclusive to this collection. So looking at some of these, the 36 Chamber of Shaolin, it's got a new 4K restoration. It's got newly restored, uncompressed Mandarin, Cantonese, and English mono audio, newly translated subs, new commentary by Travis Crawford, new select scene commentary by Tony Raines, and then a whole bunch of archival stuff on this one. There's even the Cinema Hong Kong sword. Let's see, where is it? So sorry. Tiger Style, the musical impact of martial arts cinema, a newly filmed overview of Shaw Brothers' influence on hip hop and other music genres, featuring music historian Lovely John. Cinema Hong Kong, sword fighting, the second installment in a 3-part documentary done by Celestial Pictures in 2003, and featuring interviews with a whole bunch of people from these casts. And those are the big ones for that one. But it just continues. We got newly translated subs on most of these, so I'm not going to repeat that anymore. On Return to the 36th Chamber and Disciples, we got some interviews with Gordon Liu. We got a French TV documentary called Citizen Shaw, which is from 1980, directed by Maurice Friedland, in which Sir Run Run Shaw gives an all-access tour of the Shaw Brothers backlot, including behind-the-scenes footage from Return, and then an archival featurette produced by Celestial in 2003. Some other things on there that are small archival, not a whole lot new for that one. And then Mad Monkey Kung Fu 5 Super Fighters. We got a brand new commentary for Mad Monkey Kung Fu by Frank Jang and Michael Worth. I'm so glad that Frank Jang is still in this. Newly filmed appreciation of Mad Monkey Kung Fu by Tony Raines. And then we got Shaw in the USA, a brand new featurette on how Shaw Brothers broke America, featuring Grady Hendrix and Chris Poggiali, authors of These Fists Break Bricks, which I actually showed. That might have just been for patrons, but I do have that. We talked about that recently. By the way, it's a good time to say, if you are ever looking to be in part of the Patreon, link is in the description below. We do all kinds of stuff all week long, especially like our Discord. We have discussions all the time. So link down below if you want to get deeper dive into all of these. Looking at the next post on this, Disc 4, Invincible Shaolin and the Kid with the Golden Arm. We got, let's see, some archival stuff. Poison Clan Rocks the World, a brand new visual essay on the Venomob, written and narrated by Terrence J. Brady. There is an alternate continuity cut of the Kid with the Golden Arm, presented via seamless branching, which is really cool, saves space on the disc, so we know the compression will still be great there. And then there are some trailers, stuff like that. The next one, Magnificent Ruffians and 10 Tigers. I always say this name wrong. Now that I'm slowing down, is it Kwang Tung or Kwang Tung? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any Asian languages. I wish I could read it better. On this one, we got a new audio commentary on 10 Tigers by Brandon Bentley, We got some older interviews from like 2003 on some of these. And then Rivers and Lakes, a new video essay on Shaw Brothers' depiction of Chinese myth and history, written and narrated by Jonathan Clements. And some other small things on that one. But we're still only, gosh, that is only disc number 5. Still a few left here. My Young Auntie. On this one, we got new select scene commentary by Tony Raines, an interview with the star of the film, filmed in 2003, Cinema, Hong Kong, The Beauties of the Shaw Studios, the final installment in that 3-part documentary that I mentioned earlier. And then on this one, there is an alternate standard definition VHS version of My Young Auntie. Disc 7 is Mercenaries from Hong Kong and The Boxer's Omen. On this one, we got a new commentary by Travis Crawford for The Boxer's Omen, a newly filmed appreciation of Kwai Chi Hung by film critic Tony Raines, some additional footage, and then some interviews that are archival. Disc 8, we got Martial Arts of Shaolin and the Barefooted Kid. This one has a new commentary by Jonathan Clements, new commentary on The Barefooted Kid by Frank Zhang, newly filmed appreciations of both films by Tony Raines, some archival versions, an alternate SD version of Martial Arts of Shaolin, and finally, the last 2 discs in here, discs 9 and 10, music from the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, 5 Super Fighters, Invincible Shaolin, and the Kid with the Golden Arm. And then disc 10 has music from Return to the 36th Chamber, Magnificent Ruffians, 10 Tigers, My Young Auntie, Mercenaries from Hong Kong, and Disciples of the 36th Chamber. Oh my gosh, so much in this set that it took forever to go through. Let's see. Video Man in, many cool releases from Umbrella. Have to buy Shawbox 2. Hope they have more movies like The Mighty Peking Man. Love that film, man. So many people hated that one. I think you're on a little island there. Brad Baker, what's going on? Can't wait for Shawscope 2. Tons of Venom Mob films in this one. That's true. Just Fiend, had a great time chatting. I have to go to bed now. Oh, have a good night. We shall miss you. Spaghetti, what's going on, my friend? Nice to see you. Doing all right. How are you? All right. This is a hell of a picture to show after Shawscope. So Unearthed Films is putting out La Petite Morte from 2009. This is coming on December 13th. There are no more than 10 hours away from summer, sun, and beaches. Simon, his blind girlfriend Nina, and vivid and fun-loving Dodo are on their way to Mallorca. Having to change planes in Frankfurt gives them enough time for a sightseeing tour through the city. After being robbed by a stranger, they coincidentally end up in the Maison de la Petite Morte, a place where sick and twisted games of a perverted high society take place. Lady Boss, Madame Fabienne, and her psychopath daughters, Dominique and Angelique, run the club where brutal torture, thrill-kill murders, and the deranged fantasies of incurably sick minds are daily business. Will there be any chance for an escape? You'll find out. Unearthed Films, for those that don't know, does a lot of the more very gory films. It's essentially the extreme side of mostly horror cinema. And supposedly, I don't know if this is a publicity thing or if this is legit, but Stephen Biro, who is, or Biro, however you say it, I haven't heard it said out loud, he posted that this cover is getting rejected by retailers, which means they had to institute a flip cover art on this one, and this is no longer going to be the front-facing art because this was too extreme to show, unfortunately. But on this one, we are getting making of, a commentary with Marcel Walls, interview with Marcel Walls, interview with Olaf Ittenbach, some deleted scenes, and then the standard stills and trailers. I love Unearthed Films. I love what they've been doing over the last many years at this point, but they are pretty dang great for the films that they choose to highlight and put a lot of love and care into. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be one of them. I'm talking the bigger titles, specifically, basically the ones that they've been putting out a lot of recently. So they're Anthony Wong Cat 3 stuff. They're Dr. Lamb. They've got some big ones coming, but this is one that's probably going to be on the lesser side of Unearthed Films. Just a warning. We shall see. Next up, this was last weekend, so I'm not going to spend any time on this, but one cool thing to say before we go over this, OCN Distro, which is Vinegar Syndrome's distribution company, stated in a newsletter that they were running their first partner label spotlight as a month, where they will choose one of their partner labels to highlight with a Zoom interview, which will provide more of a context for the offerings of each label and put the people behind the label to you guys so you can watch these interviews. But then also, select titles will also be discounted to 50% off of the MSRP, which is their sale price. So essentially, if you're paying attention, if they are going to do this every month, you could be picking up titles at the sale price pretty dang quickly and not have to wait for that Black Friday sale, potentially, for some of them. They did not have any of the brand new titles, but you didn't have to wait for some of these. So I would pay attention to that. We are probably going to be talking about this every month if they actually continue down this path. It's pretty dang cool. Next one. Oh man. So hopefully recently you watched my interview I did with Adam of Third Window Films, and he had talked about this one. We did a little bit discussion on this because it wasn't fully out what was happening yet, but we finally found out coming on October 17th from Third Window, which is a UK company. So this is going to be Region B locked, I believe. We get another box set from Nobuhiko Obayashi. This is the 80s Kadokawa series. Can't speak. Nobuhiko Obayashi's 80s Kadokawa years. Man, that's a lot of syllables, and I couldn't say it right. So this is going to be a limited edition 4-disc Digipack Blu-ray set of 4 of his films from the 80s, and they're all presented with brand new HD masters. This is only going to have 2,000 copies and will include a booklet by Ren Scateni and Joseph Keem. On disc 1, we have School in the Crosshairs from 1981. There's going to be a selected audio commentary, an interview on there, and then translation notes. On disc 2, we have The Girl Who Leapt Through Time from 1983. We got an archival interview with the director, and then some auditions and behind-the-scenes footage there. Disc 3, The Island Closest to Heaven from 1984. Audio commentary by Sam Deegan, another person that I've had on the channel. Really excited about that one. She does great work on commentaries. There is a video essay also about femininity in transition by Robert Edwards. And then disc 4, His Motorbike, Her Island from 1986. This one has an audio commentary by Tom Mess, another great individual to have on these. There's an archival interview with the director, and then some information there. It is going to be Region B locked. It's a little more than 380 minutes of films, which is great, and it's going to be amazing. This is what they're looking at for the Digipack. It'll be like the other 2 Obayashi sets that they have released so far. Next up, some classic cinema. We've not talked about Flicker Alley for quite some time. Coming on November 1st from Flicker Alley, we have El Vampiro Negro from 1953. This is going to be a 2-disc Blu-ray and DVD edition. A virtually unknown remake of M. Fritz Lang's seminal 1931 thriller, El Vampiro Negro, also, obviously that means the Black Vampire, is a revisionist take on the tale by Argentine director Roman Vignoli Barreto. Thanks to the diligent efforts of the Film Noir Foundation, a stunning restoration of the film was created by UCLA Film and Television Archive, and this is its first ever home video release on any format, which is really cool. So behind the film here, we have Argentine beauty Olga Zubari stars as a cabaret performer trying to protect her young daughter from a mysterious murderer while parrying the advances of the prosecutor pursuing the killer. Nathan Binson, who also appeared in Vignoli Barreto's The Beast Must Die a year earlier, gives an impressive against-type performance as the disturbed pedophile hiding in plain sight. On this, we are going to have an introduction by author, film historian, and I love this title that they gave him, Noircheologist. Noircheologist. That's brilliant. I'm a sucker for puns like that. That is Eddie Muller, The Three Faces of M, a critical comparison of the three versions of M, produced by Stephen C. Smith and film historian Alan K. Rode. Features a whole bunch of interviews in there. And then we got an interview with visual artist Daniel Vignoli, son of the director, audio commentary by Argentina's leading film archivist and cinema historian Fernando Martin Peña. And then there's a souvenir booklet with some essays and rare original photographs, posters, and ephemera. Flickr Alley, they do some really great work. I do feel that they're a little overpriced, but what they do is incredible. And not to mention, it's really important. A lot of the titles that they put out are either they've been lost or they're on the verge of being lost. And if you're going to support a company, this is a good one to support for things like that. I haven't checked the comments in a minute. Let me take a look here. Ken's here. What's going on, Ken? Video Manon says, Unearthed Films is my least favorite company after Wild Eye. After I just raved about them. I think they have terrible transfers on the films and they choose so many bad films. I get that. The terrible transfers, that's usually not their fault. On their bigger titles that are more like the prestige titles, the ones that they've been really focusing on Blu-ray, they do look a lot better. I do kind of have to stand up on that one. He does like No Escape coming in October. It looks great. And Premutos, and one or two more. Olaf Wittenbach has only one good film, and it's Premutos. Premutos is wild. X-Play fan put in Amazon order for Shaw. It's going to be badass. Absolutely. And I got to be honest, the color of Shaw Scope Volume 2, oh my gosh, does that pop. Like the first one looks great in blue, but this second one looks incredible. I think it's like an orange. It looks like, oh my gosh, it looks fantastic. Griff says, this is a great idea. I only got the Martha, a picture story doc this time around. Didn't want to miss out on the signed postcard. And those types of documentaries are incredible. Those are exactly the types of docs I love. So did Sardis. Also liked it. Terry is excited about the Obayashi set. Nice. Let's see. Spaghetti loves Flickr Alley Cinerama stuff. They've done a lot of that. Anything in Smilebox, sign me up. The Warner Archive just did one recently, I think. Like, I say recently, but now that I think about it, it's been probably 6 months. I still need to get that one. Lissa says, I have M on Criterion. I didn't know this movie ever existed. And that's why they're putting it out. A lot of people had no idea. It sounds fantastic. Definitely want to check this one out. Coming in November from Kino, we are getting Detective Story from 1951 with Kirk Douglas. I really like this poster. I don't know why, but I really like this one. This is going to get a 2020 Master by Paramount, which is a 4K scan of the OCN, which is really cool. I'm glad that they're doing this and putting it out. I'm not sure that I'm going to jump on this one. I'm going to have to see what kind of features they got. This is not a film that I know very well, so I'll have to dive into that deeper when we get some details. One I do know, and speaking of Anthony Hopkins, we are getting from Kino 4K release of Red Dragon from 2002. A lot of people hate this as a really awful follow-up to Silence of the Lambs. I kind of like it. Not like a lot, but I kind of really do like Red Dragon. I've liked pretty much everything from the Silence of the Lambs, Manhunter, Lecter universe so far. I even really liked the prequel. I thought it was super campy, but I really don't like. I don't think we have a US release of that prequel, do we? At all? I don't think we do, because I've got there's a UK box set of, I think, Red Dragon and the other two films that came out after Silence of the Lambs, including the prequel. So yeah, it's good. I really like them. Glad this is coming out. And for those that don't remember, Hannibal was actually the first 4K release by Kino. So this will be a cool one to pair with that. You know what, Jeff? Yes, I like it a lot. I do. Oh, and by the way, your comment on the Patreon post, I remembered which film I was talking about. It was Barabbas from Imprint, I believe, that I was saying it was not my style of film. And I got to be honest, that's mostly because I just don't love that era of cinema. Like, I really love the stuff from the 60s and 70s, but a lot of the 50s and even that feeling of 50s cinema that lingered into the early 60s for a lot of filmmakers, I just didn't love the way that those hold up today. I gotta be honest. Griff says Kino has been killing it for a while now. I don't know if they are still considered a boutique. Oh, absolutely, since they deal in bigger quantities. Well, we've kind of talked about this on the show before. I don't think quantities is what makes them boutique. In my opinion, a boutique label is going to be any label, essentially, that is putting out films that is not the actual movie studio. So, especially if they're putting any sort of special features on there, that's where like Mill Creek gets a little bit dicey. Where I don't know necessarily if I would classify them as a boutique, but it is one that Mill Creek is iffy for sure. But Kino is definitely boutique, especially nowadays. They have stepped it up quite a bit. Quite a bit. Quiet Rob says Red Dragon is a guilty pleasure, but only because you. Oh man, Manhunter is so good. Completely agree with Couch. We need Manhunter on 4K. Oh, Sardis, I'm so sorry. It's not okay. It's not all of the cinema in the 50s. Like, obviously, I know you're huge on sci-fi. Sci-fi from the 50s was actually really decent. It is mostly like the. How do I explain it? Like, I think it's really the obvious copying of what is happening between like a lot of the noirs. They literally had the same script and just put different actors and directors in there, and then it's just kind of so it's tough. But anyways, Ken says Escape from Alcatraz has a confirmed November 8th date. Nice, very nice. Video Man in, always fun to follow your channel. Thanks. I'm positive, and it looks like you're the type of guy that is always the happy thing. It is a mask. I'm not. I'm always miserable. Oh man. Let's see. Was Night of the Hunter 4K given a date yet? No, I don't believe so. I would honestly be surprised if that is out before the end of the year. I would hope it would be, but I'm not really counting on that one. Sarda says they're doing that today with franchises. Oh, no, not in the same way, at least. Like, I get what you're saying. A lot of it is very cookie cutter for some of them, but unfortunately, I'm saying literally, here is the script that we used 4 years ago. Go make another version of the film, because there was no home media. There was no home video for people to consume these films. So once they were out of the theater, the collective conscience just said, oh, those movies don't exist anymore. So they are not able to relive through a lot of that. So they just redid the film completely differently with a different cast, different director, and made their money. The 50s for me is like today's cinema, says Video Manon. We are redoing everything and following a generic style in the same way they did in the 50s after the 30s and 40s. I could agree with that. I cannot agree with this, Artis. We talked about this in the Discord the other day, I think. John Peters, he watched some shark movie, and they are all so fun. Unfortunately, yes, they get very samey after a while. Anyways, let's go to the next one, or I'm never going to get through all these. MVD is hosting a full moon feature sale. This sale is going till the 22nd, so it's still going. I am historically not a huge supporter of Full Moon. I don't love most of their films. If you are looking at some of their films, this is a really great way to go and pick them up. I will say, if you've never seen it, I will always suggest Tourist Trap from Full Moon as probably my favorite film of theirs, but it does not really jump out as a must compared to other labels. When I mean, there are so many labels that are doing better versions of releases, and I just trust others by so much so much more than I trust Full Moon. Hans says Murder by Contract is my favorite 50s noir. Nice. I like some noir, but man, it just gets so samey after a while. Video Man and struggled with the 50s. 30s and 40s I love. 60s and 70s are good. 70s and 80s are great. 90s are perfection. You are on my page. I love the 90s, and so few people are all up in the 90s like that. I love it. 2000s is good, but then come the 2010s. See, I almost completely disagree there. I think, at least for my tastes, I think the 2010s have been much better than the 2000s, but I could be wrong for a lot of people. We'll see. There's a lot that we could debate on that for sure. Let's see. John says Full Moon. Yes, they also have Famous TNA 2. I haven't seen it yet. I don't have my copy yet. I pre-ordered it from Grindhouse, and they were waiting on something else in that release, or something else in that shipment as well. But I think that's either on its way or about to be. It should be. Next up, Severin. So let's discuss the Severin announcements. These are all dated to be coming on October 25th from Severin, and this has been a very divisive set of announcements from Severin. Yes, Antoine says Transfers is coming in 4K from them. We talked about that like a month or a month and a half ago, something like that. And once again, I will say I cannot blind buy a 4K from Full Moon. I need to see what they do with the format to trust them. But Transfers is one of those franchises that are at least decent. And if it looks great, I would probably look into that one. Next, like I said, we got Severin. They are releasing The Changeling from 1980, the classic, on 4K UHD. They also have a bundle for The Changeling, and it's going to have the 4K Blu-ray and CD and the slipcover, plus this actually really cool looking t-shirt. Love this shirt, and it's not a bad price for all of this together. $60 when that shirt alone is probably going for 25 or 30. That's a decent deal with a brand new 4K from Severin. Details on this one. Obviously, The Changeling is a classic. This is one of the best ghost stories ever made. It is a wonderful film. It is, I won't say it's scary necessarily, but it's definitely one of like the spookier titles. A lot of people that don't love modern horror really enjoy The Changeling. So if you have not seen it, obviously this is probably going to be the best way to watch this film, is in 4K. And this is a pretty dark month, so I could see this looking really good with some nice HDR to bring out the darks in the background of the house that is really like one of the biggest characters in the film. Let's see some special features on this. We got audio commentary with the director and producer. There is Joel B. Michaels moderated. Oh, sorry, that's still the commentary. That was moderated by David Gregory himself. Interview with the director, and Adrian Garcia is the one that did that from 2018. We got some more stuff with the director, some the haunting true story of The Changeling. I think most of this is the same from the first release. I could be wrong there, but I do think that the CD soundtrack, I believe, is exclusive to this release and was not in the Blu-ray. If I'm remembering wrong, let me know. I may absolutely be wrong there, but I'm not entirely sure. The further release of this is... did not mean to click that yet. The further release of this is the fact that was a weird way to state that. What is possibly causing some people to be leery of this is around the time that Severin released The Changeling, Second Sight released The Changeling in the UK. And honestly, Second Sight just kind of knocks every release out of the park. And with Second Sight getting into 4K, I could potentially see them upgrading this one. Depending on how the restoration is, whether it was done by Severin themselves and they're willing to work together or not, this is one that if Second Sight were to put out a 4K, I would likely be more apt to buy the second sight release. So that might be causing some people to sort of, hesitate on saying, yay, the Changeling. Well, and also, first of all, a lot of people just, not super recently, but just bought this a few months ago. So the sale is the people that bought it in June, obviously, but this did release from Severin like 2018 or 19, so it's not super brand new. Next up, we are getting Dracula versus Frankenstein, which is the Al Adamson title. This was in the Adamson box set, but the big thing is if you have the Adamson box set, you've got all of the bonus features that are in this, and you don't necessarily need this. However, this release will have the CD soundtrack, which was not in the Adamson set. So if that's important to you, you may want that soundtrack. I completely get that. Flickering says the 2-disc Blu-ray edition had the CD soundtrack. Thank you. So now that I'm looking at it, I don't know that there's anything that is exclusive to this release and is not on the original release. I think most of this is, if not all of it. I'll have to look at that a little further. Yeah, all of these are the same on the Adamson release except for the CD soundtrack. Completely get it. Next up, coming from the Intervision line of Severin, we are getting the Plague Zombie Trilogy, which my money states that this is one of the better looking releases of this month, just because my taste, this lines up kind of perfectly, and I don't have any of these. This is a really interesting looking combination of films. In 1997, 17-year-old suburban Buenos Aires filmmaker Pablo Parras and Hernan Saiz pooled $450 to co-write, produce, direct, and star in a shot-on VHS zombie epic of such flesh-ripping, gore-spewing greatness that it instantly drew global cult acclaim and redefined the possibilities of extreme DIY horror. Speaking my language there. Over the next 20 years, they and their friends would create 2 increasingly ambitious and equally brilliant viscera-soaked sequels and several short films that made them Argentinian George Romero's, who built a small empire of gore flicks. The complete Plaga Zombie Trilogy Plaga Zombie Trilogy, however they pronounce it in Buenos Aires, is now presented together for the first time ever, remastered and upscaled to HD by the directors with an all-new documentary and more that celebrates the pioneers in contemporary Argentinian horror whose passion continues to influence others in Latin America and around the world. So we get A Million Zombies, the story of the the Plague Zombie Trilogy. We get Plague Zombie, the animated miniseries, 8 short films, some trailers, some teasers, and then, of course, there is a web store exclusive slipcover. This has 261 minutes. Flippin' awesome. Happy birthday again to your daughter, Brian. Glad you're here. Let's see. I think we got 2 more from Severin. Tales to Keep You Awake. This is coming once again in October, like I said. This is an anthology series from 1966, and then there's stuff all the way up through 1982 in this. Though he made 2 feature films, including Who Can Kill a Child and The House That Screamed, the ultimate legacy of writer-director Narciso Chico Ibanez, Serrador remains his groundbreaking 1966 to 1968 Televisión Española series, Historias para no dormir. Serrador wrote, directed, and introduced every single episode, adapting stories by Ray Bradbury, Edgar Allan Poe, Robert Bloch, and his own material under the pseudonym Luis Peñafiel, shocking Franco-era audiences with black humor, macabre themes, and sharp social commentary, while inspiring generations of Spain's greatest genre filmmakers, as well as a 2021 reboot. This definitive 2-disc collection includes Serrador's complete classic series, 1974 special, 1982 mini-series, and even more that celebrates the Lifetime Achievement Goya Award winner that Nerdist called one of the great Euro horror directors of all time. So this is essentially a version of the Twilight Zone, and it sounds great. Now, I'm going to point out the exact same thing that Griff did. This sounds interesting, but there is so much on each disc, which means it's only 2 discs, and it's 1,485 minutes of footage. There is no way that that is going to be in proper HD or anything like that. This has to be SD, essentially, all together on here, which is crazy, but also it's a lot of footage. I just hope that it looks good enough. When you talk about that much on a disc, you start to really get worried about the compression. So I look forward to some reviews, I will say. I haven't checked all of the comments in a minute. Let me take a look. Mitchell's here. What's going on? Oh man, I skipped a bunch of these. Midlife Media. Hey, this is the only new Severin announcement. Speaking on the Changeling, I believe I might consider, but I already have the Blu-ray. Haven't watched it yet, so I'm gonna wait. Get that completely. Video Man in Bollywood. I know nothing about. I really want to find a distribution company that does Bollywood. The only thing I can really say on that is Mondo Macabro put out. I think I can reach one from here. Mondo Macabro put out 3 of these Bollywood horror collections, and I did an interview with them earlier this year, and they did say that they are going to be revisiting some of these titles. So I think we're going to be getting some Blu-ray upgrades on some of those, and hopefully some new ones as well. Nova is releasing the best steelbook of Pig. I didn't hear about that. I'll have to take a look at that. John says, I think this month on paper doesn't look like a banger for Severin, but I bet once you get these, they all could be secretly winners. That's kind of how this month looks to me as well. The Changeling and Exorcist 3, according to Video Man In, is great work from George C. Scott. Really sad they've not made more ghost horror with strong old dudes in the main roles. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Griff, completely agree. The SOV is very hit or miss. I could see it being great or not. It's just one of those things, but I haven't seen them, and they do genuinely have a legacy. Like, I had heard about those titles before they got announced, but not sure on that one. Let's see. John says, Shot on Video is having a moment this year, huh? Yes. I think people are realizing that they will finally sell if you just add some stuff to it. A lot of these titles had been released previously on DVD and didn't do very well, but like with Saturn's Core, they found out if we make this a double feature and we put all kinds of new special features and really load up that Blu-ray, and then of course put it in a nice slipcover and make Vinegar Syndrome sell it for you, they will sell possibly a lot. Brian is excited about the Plague Zombie trilogy. Mitchell says Tales to Keep You Awake has apparently Paul Naschy involvement. Interesting. Yeah, that would make sense with that timing. Let's see. Anything else? I mean, yeah, it is absolutely about 12 hours per disc. That's crazy. But John is exactly right. They're most likely tape masters in SD. And this has been done before by other companies like I think it's Discotech with some older anime stuff. They are known for doing really great with putting like an entire series of SD cartoons, basically all on one all on one Blu-ray. And because of the storage difference of SD on Blu-ray, they can put that entire series there, and Discotech works their magic, and they look great still. They don't lose anything being on this one Blu-ray. So it's definitely possible. I'm curious to see what people say about the disc itself, but we got a while to wait. I mean, this isn't until October 25th, and then hopefully this gets shipped out earlier from Severin themselves. Oh, wait, is this the last Severin? I'm going to peek ahead. Okay, yeah, this is the last Severin. So coming from the Severin Kids line is My Grandpa is a Vampire from 1992. I gotta be honest, this one does not look great for me. I don't think I ever saw this, but I mean, I'm open to it at least. For this one, Al Lewis, beloved for his role as Grandpa in the Munsters television series, delivers a particularly demented performance as Vernon Cougar, frail old man by day and famed flyer of the undead at night. But when his visiting grandson discovers Vernon's dark secret, can they team up to take down a steak-making slime ball? I'm glad that they are doing more stuff for Severin Kids, but I'm just very curious about this title. It does not look like one that I would eagerly jump to pre-order or anything like that. This has also been known as Moonrise and Grampire, which I gotta be honest, Grampire is an incredible title. I really hope somebody makes another film with that title and really runs with it, because there's so much you could do with that. This is directed by New Zealand horror pioneer David Blythe, who did Death Warmed Up, and written by Michael Heath, who did Next of Kin. And it was scanned in 2K from the OCN under the director's supervision, and we got some special features on it. One of the cool ones is Grandpa Remembers Grandpa. There's an interview with Daniel Roebuck, who is in Rob Zombie's new release of The Munsters. Also an audio commentary with the director and the screenwriter. There's an interview with Karen Lewis on here, and then the original 5-episode radio play of Moonrise. Kind of cool. And then there's a booklet titled Moonrise as well. Lots of stuff on here, and we'll see. I love that they did the Severin Kids line at first as a joke, and we just keep going. Keep it going. Earlier this week, gosh, was that really this week? I guess so. I put out the interview I did with Air 4444, and it, like I mentioned earlier in the show, it was a really fun one. I really enjoyed talking to these guys, and it was probably it kind of sticks out as my most unique interview with some of these labels so far. So if you've not gotten the chance to watch it, please do. I think that they are going a lot of they're taking their label to a lot of places in the future. Coming on October 25th from Kino, we had announced this previously, but we got some details. We are getting Lonely Hearts from 1959. This gets a brand new HD master by MGM. It's never a good sign when it just says HD master, unfortunately. And that's it. No real features other than a trailer. Coming on October 25th, hoping that they make this a fairly cheap one. It's got Myrna Loy and Montgomery Clift, so just on the star power alone, I don't think they're going to drop the price too much, but we'll see. We will see. Also coming on October 25th from Kino, we get The Counterfeit Trader from 1962. This is getting a 4K scan of the OCN from Paramount, a new audio commentary by Julie Kiergo, and a trailer on it, but that is it. This one stars William Holden, who did so many films back then, and this just adds to that stack. Really surprising one for me. Really surprising. We are getting a Best Buy exclusive 4K steelbook of The Limey. The Limey from 1999. Obviously, this is a really great film if you've never seen this. This is directed by Soderbergh, and it stars Udo Kier and is wonderful. This is one of the really important Soderbergh films, and for somebody that is still doing work, like he had retired and he's come back. I think he's directed like 7 films since he's supposedly retired. So Soderbergh is great. He's done some amazing work, but The Limey is up there for me as one of his probably 3 or 5 best films. If you've not seen it, this is one, again, that it's a great choice on 4K. I think it'll look amazing, but I'm also shocked because this is not the type of catalog this is not the type of catalog release that I'd expect from them. This is a Lionsgate title that I definitely saw them sitting on and never doing a 4K. So just stoked that we are continuing to get great physical media releases of things like this. And you can order that now already, by the way. Coming on November 8th in 4K and 3D from Classic Flicks, we are getting I, the Jury. I believe this is the first 4K from Classic Flicks, and this is from 1953. After his best friend and war buddy is mysteriously gunned down, Mike Hammer will stop at nothing to settle the score for the man who sacrificed a limb to save his own life during combat. Along the way, Hammer rides a fine line between gumshoe and a one-man jury, staying 2 steps ahead of the law and trying not to be bumped off in the process. Bonus features on this, we got some audio commentary by Mike Hammer, continuation writer Max Allan Collins. We get an archival commentary with Biff Elliott from 2004, excerpts from some archival interviews, the 3D world of I, the Jury, called Deep in the Shadows, some TV show pilots from 1954, and 2 rarely seen O. Henry Playhouse TV episodes, one with Preston Foster and the other with Peggy Castle. Lots of stuff on this, and then the important thing, they want you to know about the restoration, because Classic Flicks really does a lot of these older titles that are important and never getting these types of restorations unless they put in the work. So the Jury has been restored by the UCLA Film and Television Archive in collaboration with PKL Pictures and Romulus Films, laboratory services by Roundabout Entertainment, the UCLA Digital Lab, Audio Mechanics, and Simon Daniel Sound. But like I said, this also has the 3D version, and to watch the 3D version of this, you will need a 3D TV or projector with HDMI 1.4 3D standards and the glasses, or 3D Blu-ray player and a 3D Blu-ray player with that cable as well. So really cool that we're getting multiple. Oh yeah, I don't know why I said Uakir. You're correct. Hilton. It is Terrence Stamp, and his picture was there staring at me. I don't know why I said that. This is one of those ones that if you're wanting it in 3D, you got that option. If you're wanting it in 4K, you got that option. This is the kind of all-encompassing release that I love to see. Ice, my friend, what's going on? Let's see. Terry says, the talent behind the camera on My Grandpa's a Vampire makes me curious. Agreed. Really good director there, actually. I didn't love the film that he did that Severin put out, but he's a good director for sure. Jonathan says, this looks more fun than When the Wind Blows. Yeah, that's not difficult at all. That movie's depressing. Grampire, directed by Rob Zombie. See, that title fits. That fits that completely. Sarda says, in my early years, I put together both of the Munster cars put out by Revell. Nice. Griff says, this one looks fun. Glad they're keeping up with the kids line. Agreed. And then Mitchell, Grimm's Fairy Tale Classics from Discotek looks awesome. Okay, so I was correct. It was Discotek. I always doubt myself on that one because I don't know that I have any of their releases yet. Griff says it has episodes of O. Henry Playhouse as well. I wonder if they are the same that are on their DVD sets already. Well, it does say 2 rarely seen. I mean, I guess that could be the same ones, and you know, obviously they know if they sold super well. So yeah, they could be the same, but I would imagine no. I was going to say I would think that they would be brand new, but not necessarily. I guess if they still have the rights, that would make sense to include them as they're related. Oh, the 50s is a great decade, huh, Sardis? I'm sorry I pissed you off. Oh, man. Some Cult Epics news. We have not heard much from them lately, but on October 25th from Cult Epics, we are getting The Last Romantic Lover from 1978. The editor-in-chief of a New York women's magazine is organizing the Last Romantic Lover contest to find out if men still have a sense of romance. One of the winners is a circus lion tamer whose prize is to spend 10 days with her. Weird setup there. Cult Epics presents Just Jakin's The Last Romantic Lover in a new 4K transfer, supervised by the Oscar-nominated cinematographer Robert Fries, fully loaded with a bunch of new bonus features, including an audio commentary by Jeremy Ritchie, author of Sylvia Christel From Emmanuel to Chabrol, interview with Just Jakin, interview with Dale Haddon, presentation at the Cinematheque Francois, and some promotional galleries and trailers. If you buy the limited edition, it will have a double-sided sleeve on it, of course, for the first pressing. And if you buy it from the Cult Epic store, they have some U.S. postcards, they're calling it. So interesting. It's a good-looking release, at least. Let's see. So many great films from the 50s. Just look at what... I mean, yes, I wasn't saying there's nothing good. I'm just saying film in general from the 50s. It's not something I get super excited about. I hope someone does a restoration like this on Frankenstein's Bloody Terror. Absolutely. And yes, Vinegar Syndrome said a 4K Paul Naschy was in the works. Completely related there. Cult Epic signed a distribution deal with MVD. Yes, I believe that MVD is putting out all of their stuff. MVD almost has everybody in the States now. CAV, Severin used to go through Cav, and it seems like there's no one else, but I think Cav is still doing like one or two labels. Not very many, for sure. OCN is the biggest competitor to MVD, I would say. Coming as a reissue from Cult Epics, this is also going to include a bonus CD of the long out-of-print original soundtrack for this film, and that is Madame Claude from 1977. Following the worldwide smash hits of Emmanuel and The Story of O, Just Jakin that we just talked about, returned in 1977 with the sensual real-life drama Madame Claude. Starring French New Wave icon Francois Fabian in the title role, along with a sinister Klaus Kinski and the lovely Dale Haddon, Madame Claude is an incredibly timeless look at one of the most controversial figures in recent French history. Originally released as The French Women in the US, Madame Claude is a mesmerizing mixture of elegant eroticism and potent political thriller, powered by Jakin's inventive direction and an unforgettable score by the French composer Serge Gainsbourg. This gets a 4K transfer from the OCN, an audio commentary by Jeremy Ritchie, an interview with Just Jakin, some trailers and all those again. And then, just like last time, this gets the original soundtrack CD, and the limited edition will only have 1,000 copies. 1,000 copies. Cult Epics, though, they usually do great work. They just don't put out enough. We're going to be talking about Vinegar Syndrome Summerfest tonight at 11:30 Eastern. So make sure you're signing back on for that one. Speaking of, there's only 38 minutes till then. I need to hurry up through the rest of these. Criterion announced their stuff for this month, and boy, oh boy, is it a hell of a month for Criterion. Obviously, I have talked about Criterion in many, many different ways over the last 18 months. They are not my favorite label. They're probably not even in the top 10. But I will say, Criterion has had a hell of a year in 2022. They have genuinely impressed me with the titles that they are putting out, and I am stoked that they seem to be either focusing on different things or really, really looking at the titles in a way that will not necessarily appeal to more people, but I'm just glad that they're doing what they're doing right now. So this first title is Daisies from 1966. If the entire world is bad, why shouldn't we be? Adopting this insolent attitude as their guiding philosophy, a pair of hedonistic young women, both named Marie, embark on a gleefully debauched odyssey of gluttony, giddy destruction, and anti-patriarchal resistance, in which nothing is safe from their nihilistic pursuit of pleasure. This one looks and sounds great. Lots of stuff on here. Audio commentary, thankfully. New interview with film programmer Irina Kovarova. There's a documentary from 2002. Another documentary about the artistic collaboration among the cinematographer, the director, and the screenwriter. 2 short films from 1962. And this looks good. This looks like a great release. And to me, I think I was going to say that this looks like the worst of the month, but it doesn't look bad. So that's a bad way to say it. But moving on, In the Mood for Love is coming in 4K on November 1st from Criterion. To point out the obvious here, this is going to be the same exact restoration that was in the box set. So a lot of people are Damn it, Jeff. Oh, man. A lot of people are probably not going to be getting this necessarily because they just got that other release in the box set. And this will have the exact same restoration, which means it will have the newly updated color timing. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a title that comes with HDR. It will only have SDR, and Criterion has confirmed that. On the plus side, In the Mood for Love is literally one of the best movies of all time, and I'm super glad that they're putting it out on 4K. Wong Kar-wai is a filmmaker that deserves to have his cinematography in 4K in the best possible format. I do understand the consternation of people feeling that this is a quick 4K release for this film, though. Again, no new special features that you don't have on one of the previous discs. This is not one that, if you are just a semi-fan on it, you're probably not going to run out and grab this one. But also, it's coming out in November, so it should be on sale during the next Barnes & Noble sale in November, and it should only be $25. Not a bad price. Next one. This is... Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I kind of hated The Power of the Dog. This is coming in 4K and Blu-ray from Criterion on November 8th, and I just did not love this film. I think it is vastly overrated. I don't think it ever should have been I don't think it ever should have been nominated for direction or half of the other things that it had going for it at the Oscars. Just completely undeserving. I did not like this movie. Man. But I am glad that this is getting a physical release still, because it was a Netflix film, and obviously there's a lot of people that are fans of this, so I'm glad. This is going to have HDR, of course, an interview with the director Jane Campion about the making of the film, a program featuring interviews with members of the cast and crew with behind-the-scenes footage in New Zealand, which is cool. Some other interviews, and then a conversation among Jane Campion, director of photography Ari Wegner, actor Kirsten Dunst, and producer Tanya Sakachian, moderated by Tamara Jenkins. There's also a new interview with novelist Annie Proulx, and some trailer stuff like that. I get it. It's a good-looking release. I just... Silent Mandible, is that because of Power of the Dog? Man, I don't love it. I don't know why. But, I mean, if you got to fight me, you got to fight me. A lot of hot takes tonight. Don't love 50 Cinema. Don't love Power of the Dog. I apologize. Everybody. But one I am absolutely looking forward to. Coming on November 15th from Criterion, one that was sort of confirmed earlier this year, we are getting the Infernal Affairs trilogy from 2002 and 2003. Now, this was a really interesting response to this one, because this was highlighted, as you can see here, new 4K digital restorations with surround sound and everything, and it's only getting a Blu-ray release. I really think this could have done much better as a Blu-ray release, and then do it on the side also as a 4K release. A 4K box set of this would have killed. For those that don't know, this is a trilogy of films from Hong Kong, very weighty Hong Kong crime dramas, and they are just genuinely incredible. On these, we got audio commentaries for Infernal Affairs and Infernal Affairs 2, featuring co-directors Andrew Lau Wai Kung and Alan Mak, and the screenwriter Felix Chong Man Kung. There's an alternate ending for Infernal Affairs, some new interviews and archival interviews, making ofs, behind the scenes footage. Genuinely, this looks like a great release. I just wish this had come out on 4K. Silent Mandible says, yeah, it was about Power of the Dog. I was happy with the announcement, and honestly, I am too. I want more of it on disc as well. Absolutely. I mean, look at everything we're seeing with HBO Max. They once again announced that they're taking all kinds of content off of their program, and with no physical releases, where are we going to get that stuff? It's a bad time to be fans of streaming. Menzel's Capricious Summer and Larks on a String is a good place to start. Oh, talking about something with Terry there. Makes me wonder if they will do the 4K for the first two Police Story films. That is great speculation. I would not be surprised at all. Next up is probably the biggest announcement of, literally, the biggest announcement of the year from Criterion for me. Denzel Washington in Spike Lee's Malcolm X is coming in 4K and Blu-ray to Criterion on November 22nd. For those that have never seen it, Malcolm X is an incredibly powerful film. On top of being a film made by Spike Lee with the classic Spike Lee isms, it is beautifully shot. It is loud in certain ways. But the biggest thing, this is Denzel's star-making performance, and it is one that does not get the attention it deserves in 2022. And I think, obviously, there's not been a really great release for it. It doesn't show a lot in repertory theater either. One of the reasons for that is because the film is just over 3 hours long. 3 hours is a long time for a film. Fortunately for this one, it doesn't feel like 3 hours. This one speeds right by. It is such a wonderful film, and I think that you would absolutely love it if you give it some time. Next up, finally out of Criterion, so I'm going to speed up on these. Coming in October from Scorpion, this is going to be by conjunction with Kino Lorber, of course. We're getting The Sporting Club from 71. From a brand new restoration, the Blu-ray will feature an on-camera interview with the director, actor Nicholas Koster, and an audio commentary from Daniel Kramer. This looks interesting. It's a satirical take on some things, and it looks decent. We got some details coming on October 25th in 4K from Kino, The Usual Suspects. This gets a brand new HDR Dolby Vision master from a 4K scan of the OCN. There is all of the archival features, I believe, that we had out there on other releases, like the audio commentary by Bryan Singer and Christopher McQuarrie. And then on the Blu-ray, there is The Devil in the Details, a new interview with the cinematographer Newton Thomas Siegel. And if I remember right, yes, that is the only thing that is brand new on this release. It is a 16-minute interview with the cinematographer. Either way, it's a classic film, wonderful movie, and other than the Kevin Spacey of it all, it looks it looks good. Looks like a good release. Next one up, Mondo Macabro had 4 massive announcements. Jeez, this is going to be a long show leading up to another show in 25 minutes. On September 8th, we are going to be able to pre-order these 4 films. They are In the Folds of the Flesh from 1970. This one is going to have, let's see, the features here. Where are they? Here we are. Brand new 2K restoration from the OCN, documentary featurette on director Bergonzelli, a new audio commentary by the one, the only Sam Deegan, and then on the limited feature, which, by the way, let me show the other cover art here, which I really love this one. There's a reversible sleeve with brand new art on the A side and original ad art on the B side, a 20-page booklet with a brand new essay by Robert Curdy, and this will have 1,500 numbered copies. Next one is really exciting. House of Terrors, also known as Ghost of the Hunchback from 1965. Odd to me that this gets a letterboxed quote on the actual cover. Genuinely disturbing moments and atmosphere galore, says Dave Jackson on Letterboxd. The synopsis of this one. A recently widowed woman discovers that her former husband, who died in an insane asylum, owned a remote country mansion. She and a group of friends go to the villa and find a weird demonic statue in the hallway. They are joined by a hunchback caretaker who tells them of the numerous murders that have occurred there. Soon the guests begin to hear strange noises, including disembodied laughter, and feel that they are being stalked by a disturbing presence that haunts the mansion. This is a Japanese film that was influenced by US and European Gothic cinema of the 60s, like Mario Bava's Mask of Satan and Robert Wise's The Haunting. Filmed in black and white widescreen, the film is a classic of Gothic horror with many genuinely scary scenes. Packed with bizarre characters and strange occurrences, there is a surprising and horrifying climax. And this is the film's first U.S. release and a worldwide premiere on Blu-ray. This is going to have, a brand new 2K restoration from the OCN, new introduction to the film by Patrick Macias, brand new intro to Toei Horror by Patrick Macias, new audio commentary by Tom Mess, just talked about him a little while ago, new cover art, a 16-page booklet, and this will have 1,200 numbered copies. At least the cover doesn't have a review from Facebook or MySpace. Man. Next up from Mondo is going to be my really, that was a weird way to say that, my most anticipated of these four. From 1975, we are getting a haunted Turkish bathhouse. This features Nikatsu star Naomi Tani as an abused wife sold to a brothel to cover her husband's debts. The deceitful husband is actually behind it all, in cahoots with the brothel madam, who is his lover. Tani discovers the truth and gets tortured to death. However, the dead woman's soul seeks vengeance from a most unusual quarter. This film is a bizarre mixture of Japanese erotica, gangster film, and ghost cat horror movie, all popular genres in the 60s and 70s. It is a heady cocktail and makes for an entertaining and unpredictable film that rocks along at a giddy pace. This is going to have a new 2K restoration, new interview with Patrick Macias about Toei exploitation cinema in the 70s, new audio commentary by Sam Deegan. And then if you buy the limited edition, this will have a 20-page booklet by Jasper Sharp, which is really cool, and then 1,200 copies in their red case. Finally, we get a Blu-ray upgrade for one of their previous DVD-only titles called Don't Deliver Us from Evil from 1971. Here is one of the pieces of art, and here is the other. This is going to have quite a few new features on here. We got a new interview with the director, Joel Seria, archival interviews, and some other archival interviews from the cast and the director, and then a new audio commentary by Kat Ellinger. But the coolest thing, this gets a brand new 2K restoration from the OCN that it's not just a double up of what they did previously. This is a genuine upgrade. Really, really cool that they did this. This is also one that was most requested for them to upgrade to Blu-ray. This is going to have a 16-page booklet, 5 double-side art cards, and this will be numbered to 1,500 copies. All 4 of those Mondo titles will be on sale September 8th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon, only at their mondomacabro.bigcartel.com website. Anything in the comments? All right, let's keep going so that we can get out of here fairly soon. These are all announced today. Coming on August 29th from Makeflix, My Dead Girlfriend. This is painstakingly restored using archival masters from the original mini DV source tapes with all new color grading. This is newly restored this year in 4:3 original aspect ratio, new surround and Dolby digital mixes, new audio commentary with actor-director Brett Kelly and the co-producer Jody Pittman. There's also an archival commentary on here. New interview called My Ex-Dead Girlfriend, Caitlin Remembers, that's 10 minutes. Some behind-the-scenes footage, stuff like that. The other cool thing, this has the 2006 original DVD version with Dolby Digital in the different the different aspect ratio, but also includes an audio commentary for that version. You can pre-order that now, and it ships the week of the 29th. And if you want, you can pair it with Kingdom of the Vampire. This is from 2007. Another one that Makeflix is putting out. This is the front and the back of the release. Whoops, wrong one. This is getting a new restoration in 4:3, the original aspect ratio. New audio commentary with the director, an archival audio commentary. Catching up with Bruce, Jody Houck is interviewed. It's only 5 minutes, and there's a still gallery. And again, the original DVD version is also on here with that old audio commentary. And they also got brand new subs on it. So many titles. So many titles. Indicator announced 3 different limited edition box sets. the ones with the hard box and then the big book that's going to go with it. Remember the Night from 1940. I believe I've seen this one previously and I love it. I just don't remember all the details. Gosh, it's been a long time, so I'm definitely looking for this one. Barbara Stanwyck is in this, and obviously Barbara Stanwyck is like one of the best of all time. This is going to have a high def remaster, which again, when it only says high definition remaster, not a lot of details on that, which is worrying. We got an audio commentary with film historian Adrian Martin, some archival things on this, and then some featurettes from this year that are going to go deep into very specific things on the film. We got radio adaptations of this, both from 1940 and 1942. One of them, Barbara Stanwyck and Fred MacMurray, are actually in their roles from the film for the radio adaptation. There's also a short promo film, but the big thing is this is the limited edition, so it will have an 80-page booklet with new essays, archival interviews, all kinds of stuff like that. This is a UK-only title and limited to 3,000. Another UK-only title, because it was released in the US by Grindhouse Releasing, we are getting The Big Gun Down from 1966. This is, again, a hardbox limited edition, and also, this is one of the very best spaghetti western films of all time. I will stand by that 100%. This movie is incredible. Directed by Sergio Salima, and Lee Van Cleef obviously is in this and plays a big part of this. We get 2K restorations of 3 different cuts of the film. Now, unfortunately, that is probably the exact same restoration that is on the Grindhouse Releasing version of this. That was also a 2K remaster, so I imagine that those are the same. The one big thing that this has, other than all the special features, the Grindhouse Releasing version only had 2 cuts. So this gives you an entirely new cut of the film to watch if you had that old one. But some of the special features on this look incredible. So we got an audio commentary with writers and film experts Barry Forshaw and Kim Newman. Audio commentary with C. Courtney Joyner and Henry Park on the extended US cut. Spaghetti Western Memories, a documentary from 2012 in which Sergio Salima and Thomas Millian revisit this much heralded Western. And then we got some older features, archival from 2013, but then new ones. We got Stephen Thrower discussing The Big Gun Down, Austin Fisher discussing The Big Gun Down, and then some image galleries, some new subtitles. But again, it is a limited edition hardbox, so we're going to get an 80-page book with a new essay by Roberto Curti and some archival interviews with Lee Van Cleef, Thomas Millian, and Sergio Salima, extracts from the film's promo materials, and more. This one is limited to 5,000. This one is probably going to sell very well for them. Very well. This is a great title. And finally, possibly, oh wow, I see. I'm gonna edit this right now because that is embarrassing. This is not from the year 2961. This is from the year 1961. Oops. So coming on December 5th in the UK and the 6th in the US, we are getting Enter Santo, the first adventures of the Silver Masked Man. Both of these films are from 1961, and Indicator is going to kill this release. I'm so stoked that they got this. In Santo vs. Evil Brain, the dastardly Dr. Campos is kidnapping and brainwashing scientists. When undercover detective Santo falls prey to Campos' scheme, Lieutenant Zambrano and El Incognito must come to his assistance to foil Campos' plans. Meanwhile, in the same years, Santo versus the Infernal Men, the trio of Santo, El Incognito, and Zambrano team up once again to fight a band of drug smugglers. These are both getting new 4K restorations from the OCNs. We got the original mono audio, which means it should have the original Spanish in this, and it will have new subtitles and all that. There's a feature-length documentary from 2011, a bunch of archival stuff on here, some restoration comparisons, image galleries and all that. Plus, it's the limited edition, so you got an 80-page book, a poster. These are the world premieres on Blu-ray. This will be combined from the US and UK, limited to 6,000 copies. That's it. And this, because it's worldwide premieres, this will probably do very well for them. This is much better than the VCI release of the Santo films that they just did recently. And I can't wait to see how well this does. Oh my gosh. It is already... The sale starts in 45 minutes, and I need just a few minute break before we go to the next stream. So I'm going to go through the rest of these lightning fast. If you are into the premium releases that I talked about recently with Fanatical Dragon, we got an exclusive 4K Steelbook coming to Zavvi tomorrow of Ex Machina, and this is going to have a 64-page hardcover book, some collector's cards, a slipcase. This is what the steel looks like. I really dig the art on this, especially on the back here. And then this is the inside. You can't get to the link yet unless you have the Zavvi. I don't remember what their premium members only thing is, but yeah, you can't see this till it goes up for pre-order. Look for that tomorrow on Zavvi. Blood and Diamonds is coming in the US from 88 Films. This is a Fernando de Leo film from 1977. One really cool thing on this is that there is a feature-length documentary called Journey of Love, which is about discovering Fernando de Leo, who has done a whole lot of films. Absolutely love the way this looks. Brand new remastered 4K transfer from the OCN. 88 Films is going to kill it with this one, I think. And also, it's got an audio commentary from Troy Howarth, which, amazing. Love that for us. We talked about Wild Eye earlier. Somebody said it was their second least favorite label. We are getting The Bloody Man from 2020. This is another one of those fairly modern horror films that look to be pretty we got Lisa Wilcox from the original Nightmare on Elm Street series. And this got director's commentary, blooper reel, whole bunch of stuff. But also, they look to be going more like special edition, kind of like the other titles that they've been doing recently on their Visual Vengeance line. So look for more of those, because not only are they doing this, they're also doing Black Holler from 2017. And this one looks like it's a lot more up my alley. This actually looks and sounds really good. Summer 1989, on her first day of school, Lakita Johnson is forced to join a group of students into the mysterious Black Holler Woods for a class trip where they face a deadly serial killer. A horror comedy send-up of classic 80s slasher films that ramps up the insane deaths and horror tropes. Again, this is probably not great, but it looks great. I gotta be honest. I'm definitely interested in this one. You can pre-order this now from a whole bunch of places, and that is it for all of the announcements. Why was this week so much? Way more than expected this week. I hate that I had to go so fast there at the end, but let's talk about the ones coming out next week, just in case you forgot to pre-order some of those, like we always do. Coming out next week, we got Kirk Douglas Paths of Glory in 4K. Obviously, that's the Kubrick film that's coming from Kino Lorber. I don't have that one ordered yet. I need to get that in. Dog Soldiers in 4K from Scream Factory is shipping now. Dirty Dancing in 4K is finally getting a standard release rather than the Steelbook. So if you want that, look for that. Criterion's releases of Buck and the Preacher and Hotel du Nord are both coming out next week. Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest, is coming out from Shout. Suburban Sasquatch from Visual Vengeance. A lot of people have that one already, but it's officially coming out next week. The Outer Limits Season 1 and 2 from Kino. I think those are both re-releases. Those will be available again. Naked Over the Fence, another Cult Epics title that is fairly recent. That one is coming and looks great. That's supposed to be a really great release with Sylvia Christel. Scorpion releasing, putting out their films Death Wish 3, The Delta Force, and Lone Wolf McQuaid. Those are coming as retail versions, so it won't be... I think those were all Ronin Flix exclusives. It's all going to be the same thing, as well as Death Warrant. Those are all just going to be available everywhere else. We got some classic films coming from Kino. The Burned Barns coming from Cohen Media, which is essentially Kino. And that is pretty much it. I hate to say it. This already went way longer than I expected. But the big thing, I have another stream scheduled and ready to go. So I hope you all come back. I'm going to go to the bathroom, maybe get a couple snacks, and come back down and stream and talk all things Vinegar Syndrome starting in 10 minutes. We're going to lead up to that. We're going to speculate, talk about the different types of titles, talk about Picorama, talk about what might be coming for the catalog slipcovers, because we have no clues so far. As I always say, one thing before we go, I want to say a big thank you to the patrons of the channel. Your guys' support means so much more than you know. The amount of time that I try to put into all of this really takes away from other things, and the ability to supplement some of what I do with this is great. And that's why I try to return that love with like the boutique giveaways that I do every single month, which, speaking of, it is the 18th of August, and your timeline of signing up at the VIP level for that giveaway for this month is the night of August 20th, which is the Saturday. So if you want in on that giveaway with all of these people in this left column here, sign up before Saturday night at midnight, and you will also be entered into that drawing. I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. You are the reason that I look forward to doing this every single week. I will see you in exactly 10 minutes. I appreciate you being here. You guys are amazing. From one collector to all of you, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Have a good night.